Why, hello there, everybody. It's me, Flame, back with more Flames Warframes. The series where Umamusume? Question mark? I don't know. Today we are going over yet another Warframe. Her name is Dagath, and she has quite a bit of lore, so we're going to get into this really quick, but before I get into it, I just like to say, please like the video, please subscribe if you want to see more content. Uh, Not subscribing and not liking isn't going to make me stop making content, but you might as well support the person that you're watching the videos of as opposed to not. Like, it literally costs you nothing. I don't even profit off these videos. I just kind of want a bit of recognition that people are actually enjoying this stuff. Anyway, moving past that, it is time for Dagath. So here she is. You might be wondering why I said Umamusume, and you're also probably wondering why Dagath has no face. Yeah, let's go to the arsenal, and I can just go over her abilities first, and then we could spend a small portion of the time on her abilities, and then a wider portion of the time on her lore. So first and foremost, her passive is that there is a 35% chance that energy and health orbs will be 300% more effective on Dagath. I I don't use Dagath very often, so I'm not entirely familiar with her abilities, but that passive, I didn't realize that was a thing. Anyway, my own ignorance aside, first ability, Weird Scythes. I think that's how you would say it. It's basically just these spinning blades that go around and seek out nearby enemies. And it also does viral damage, which is nice because viral damage, I believe, just bypasses shields and maybe just travels to other enemies. I'm not totally sure. Second ability, Doom. Condemn nearby enemies to their doom. A portion of the damage Dagath deals is revisited upon them by a weird scythe. They also suffer viral damage. So, yeah, when I said I am not very familiar with Dagath, I meant that considerably. Third ability, Grave Spirit. Supercharge Dagath's weapons with extra crit damage. The effect is doubled on doomed enemies, so that's what Doom is used for. But escape fatal blows by briefly assuming a spectral form, so kinda pseudo immortality. And now we get to the reason why Dagath is referred to as a horse girl, because she has horses. Behold the power of horse. Or, well, I guess more accurately, they are Kaiths, which are just Warframe's equivalent of horses. But, yeah. Dagath, to my knowledge, doesn't have any augments, though I will double check that. Let's see, Steel Meridian. Nope. Arbiters of Texas. Nope. Veil. Nope. Or actually, yes, she does have one. Grave Spirit Augment. Immediately assume spectral form. 100% chance for weapons and abilities to apply Doom. Kills outside of spectral form decrease its cooldown by 1 second. So that was her third ability that gives her like partial immortality. Anyway, regardless of that augment, Dagath has quite a bit of lore, that goes sort of along with her acquisitions. So, to go over both of those things, I will bring you guys to the dojo. Now, you might be wondering, why would a dojo frame have a considerable amount of lore? Well, it's kind of the same deal as Ureli, which, if you ever heard of Ureli and how you acquire her, you might know stuff about that, but you also might not. That Kid's Bash Lab, that's how you get Ureli, but there's also Dagath's Hollow. And at Dagath's Hollow is where you acquire Dagath, as well as her weapon, the Doroclave. Honestly, I'm not sure why I haven't already crafted this thing. Anyway, another thing that you can see here is, I believe, Dagath's backstory in the form of a tale told by Grandmother Entradi. Who is Grandmother Entradi? Well, I can actually just take you guys to Deimos and show you. But in the meantime, I might as well start relaying some of this lore. So, Dagath, like multiple Warframes, was originally sort of like caretaker, or not really caretaker, but protector and servant to a certain couple of Orokin lovers. Now, these Orokin lovers, fun little thing, they were very vain people, as are most Orokin. So, they wanted, not only did they want Dagath to care for them, they wanted Dagath to only care for them. Also, at this point in time, Dagath did not go by the name Dagath. They went by another name, which I don't remember, but it's probably in the story. Speaking of the story and the person telling it, ladies and gentlemen, this is Grandmother Entradi.
And where have you been scampering, little skittikin? Hither and yon and round about and tying knots in the fiend's tail?
Yeah, she's nice. Anyway, so Grandmother Entradi, she's the one that tells us this tale, and you might be wondering why she's just called Grandmother. That will be part of the story as well. So, Grandmother Entradi basically tells us this story that Dagath was originally like the servant slash protector to this Orokin couple. But the Orokin couple saw that she was getting somewhat lonely. You know what people do when they get lonely? They get pets. In Dagath's case, the Orokin couple got her horses. Why did they get her horses? I don't know or remember. It might be gone over in the lore, but quite frankly, I'm not gonna sit through all that with you guys because that would push me past 15 minutes, and because you aren't already subscribed and liking my content, I can't make videos that go past 15 minutes. So, if you want Dagath's expanded lore past this simplified explanation, subscribe to my channel, and maybe I'll make a video about that eventually. Or you could just play Warframe. Anyway, so basically what happened is Dagath began getting, well, in the Orokin couple's opinion, she started getting more and more attached to the horses, the Kaiths, and they couldn't have that. And there's nothing really interesting going on in the game right now, so I'll just bring this back to full screen face. So anyway, Dagath was getting too attached to her horses, and the Orokin couple didn't like that because she was beginning to love the horses more than she loved them. So what did the Orokin couple do? The same thing that a lot of spiteful Orokin couples do. They, I believe actually they had her turned into a Warframe. I think she might have originally been a Dax. She might have also, she was either originally a Dax and they turned her into a Warframe, or she was originally a Warframe and they just removed her face, identity, and name specifically. Now, I might be wondering, if they removed her face, identity, and name, then, well, why does she now go by Dagath? We're getting to that. You might already have assumptions. Your assumptions may be correct. But, yeah, one day there is basically, after this, the Orcan couple wants nothing more to do with her because they find her to be unattractive without her face. So, yeah, do with that information what you will. Anyway, Dagath basically goes off on her own, becomes sort of wandering headless horseman type person, and basically what she starts doing is she starts either killing or collecting tribute from assorted people who cross her path in the middle of the Wild West, or whatever the space equivalent of the Wild West is. That is until one day she comes across Grandmother Entrati. Grandmother Entrati has nothing of value to give her, or at least that's what she sees. Grandmother Entrati, on the other hand, believes that she does have something to offer Dagath, which at this point she has no name and no identity. So, Grandmother Entrati gives her a name and an identity, her own. Grandmother Entrati's name was originally Dagath Entrati, but she gives that name and identity to the Faceless Warframe. As such, Grandmother now just goes by Grandmother, because, well, she can't very well be using this name that she's given up, but regardless, the important part is Dagath spared Grandmother's life, and then went on to just keep doing Horsegirl stuff. She's summoning phantom horses now and riding them off into whatever galactic sunset she may be close to. But yeah, that's Dagath's lore, and that's basically all I have to say. Or actually, no, that is not all I have to say, because there is one more thing I need to go over. So I showed you guys the place where you can actually like acquire Dagath's parts blueprints, but here's the funny thing. In order to craft those blueprints, you need to go into the offerings for these syndicates, and you need to get these abyssal beacons. And once you have these abyssal beacons, like I have, you can go to your navigation and go to series, and there'll be this thing called the Abyssal Zone. Do the Abyssal Zone missions, and they will give you, I think they're called Vein Thorns, and once you have enough of those Vein Thorns, then you can craft the parts blueprints, which will eventually allow you to craft Dagath. But aside from that, you can just acquire the parts blueprints from the dojo, and that is effectively it. That is all I have to say about Dagath. I've seen her be capable of some great feats of destructive power. But you know what else is capable of great feats of destructive power? Me. If you give me access to any kind of destructive power. This is not a threat. This is not in any way meant to be insinuating that I'm about to destroy something. But I will say, maybe to incentivize me not to destroy anything, you guys could like this video and subscribe to my channel, and maybe leave me a comment on your thoughts on Dagath and their tragic backstory. Or just leave me thoughts on, I don't know, which Warframe you want me to cover next. I know I'm doing these in alphabetical order, but I don't know, by that logic, next Warframe I'm covering will be Dante. So if you're at all interested in the Shadow Wizard Money Gang, pop into that next video, or tell your friends, tell your parents. Probably don't tell your younger siblings. Anyway, I'm hitting the 15-minute mark, so see you later.